Hello, YouTube. Welcome. This is a podcast. You guys may know it. Maybe newbies, they have no idea, but this is the Black Spirit podcast of Black Desert Online. And we have as a guest Hazy Mists and the manager as Higa and Archive. Hazy is just, has a different webcam today. I don't know how to show it, but he's a little bit far away. Higa is classic, is the manager, as like you guys see me. Archive has no webcam. He's a little bit shy. And the additional guest is Zero Den Hunter. If he can be here, he'll just be there. And yeah, Higa is the manager. Before we start, do not forget to click that like button and also tell people that there is a podcast about Black Desert Online and Veterans is talking about the current situation of the game. While they're talking, I'll also just join. I will also enjoy the RBF. There's an RBF event. You guys will watch the RBF, and also people will yap about the topics. Thank you so much for being here, and I'm just, giving the management to our manager, Higa. Thank you.
Okay, so first things off, let's introduce let our guests to be introduced. Look, I want to start off with Hazy, which just happens, according to Chicken, cosplay inaccurate succession ranger distance when interacting with people, which I find inappropriate. But yeah, sure. Feel free to introduce yourself, Hazy.
Hello, yes. Be wary, I am your worst nightmare in the next AOS season. But yeah, I'm the Sock Ranger, as they say. That's rage-face people and make people mad. There I am, and I'm not gonna lie today, guys. I'm got a lot of hot takes today. Right? Okay. I'm just gonna be saying things that everyone is thinking, but won't post anywhere. In forums or on Reddit, just in case I get comma bombed or because they're too afraid to post it. So here we go.
Oh jeez. Okay. Time for you, Archive. Introduce yourself.
Hi, hello. My name is Archive. Awakening Sage player since release and writer of the Awakening Sage guide. Some of you may know me, others don't, and I might offer some insight into state of the game today.
Okay, that's good. So we are missing Thrallen. Yesterday night, he said he would try to fit in his schedules to appear in the podcast. So we will try to save the more PvP-oriented topics of this podcast to later stages so that we give him time to appear. And let's just start with, for example, the feeling of the post-Alchemy releases. Okay, so as you guys may know, Alchemy revamp system was released not that long ago. There's been a couple of days already. I feel like 5 weeks, probably like 1 month, a little bit more. And a lot of people are actually accomplishing the first shinies. They're getting their splendids. Have you guys got any upgrades into that specific piece of gear?
Well, we got a 1-up. We got a 6% one. Yeah.
Okay. Did you get any upgrades, Archive?
I pitied Resplendent, and that's kind of about
it. Oh, geez.
It's all just Resplendent,
Okay. What about you, Gwendia? You are still sitting on Splendid, right? No luck on...
Yeah, Splendid is just turned into some kind of casual item. I used to be, some kind of special dude, but not anymore.
Yeah, I was gonna mention, since people are actually accomplishing this type of gear, the WoW effect or the importance or the rare feeling of those objects are legit gonna disappear, right? It's gonna become something completely normal for every player. Do you guys think that's a good thing, or would you still want to have some sort of value? Because I feel like everyone is gonna be sitting in Splendid for a while, but we are seeing so many shinies actually. How do you guys feel about it, Pacey?
Right. Well, well, here's the first part coming up. It's what's it called? It's a money thing, right? That's what the Alchemy stones are. That's it. That's the whole design philosophy of them releasing it. If you're grinding for it, then every single week, right? Actually, every 5 days, since that's how the time glitch works. You'd be basically paying like 12 billion, right? That's the cost you make the stones. And that is because and the thing is, you're essentially paying the tax, the early adopter tax to have the better Alchemy stones, right? Because what we know, is coming, right? This happened to Blackstone, this happens to Sovereign. It's just gonna get make it easier. PA is gonna make this easier, right? They're gonna either by lowering pities down the line, or remove the time gates, right? Or just eventually just make everything easier to get. They always do, right? We've seen this before, right? And honestly, the hot take here is it's not even that these stones are bad. It's that those stones can actually be detrimental to certain classes during maybe not PvE but PvP, right? Because some classes have stamina issues, right? And they have a careful balance with their attack speed. And if that attack speed got imbalanced, then yeah, good luck. You know, you're not running a marathon. You're running a sprint, and you're dying before minute 1.
I do hear from some guildmates that they actually have to relearn their classes because the SA lingers become quicker. They get CC'd more often because of hit staggers or speed axle, so they get more gaps. They have to actually relearn their classes. It's actually
I mean, the thing is that the classes these days, they're not actually designed with like you having 10% attack speed in mind. They're designed with 5% attack, right? But they're not like we don't have enough data on the fact that people can go up to higher attack speed, and because of that, right, PA didn't balance it around it. So that means the classes are just gonna like the projection is gonna break once again, and then there's a whole debacle that they gotta do, and then there's gonna be a whole like class differential down the line once again in a few months that we're gonna see that we don't know yet. So there's that whole problem with Alchemy stones. Like it's a good thing, don't get me wrong, but overall, like that's what I think is a money sink, and there's gonna be later like undermining problems in the long run.
Wow. I want to actually throw this question to you guys. Because at the end of the time, where everyone at least is gonna pity, right? Everyone is gonna achieve the object. Like, is the investment because it's not only the silver. Maybe nowadays 12 billion every 5 days is pretty affordable, even for mid players. Is the investment any meaningful? Has it lost its purpose? Is it engaging for you guys, Arcade? Do you find it engaging? Does it have any meaning to you?
The investment for the Alchemy Stone?
Yeah, to constantly be there. It keeps you engaged with the game. It motivates you. It's or on the other hand, it's dry. You don't. It's whatever. I have to do that.
Well, I wouldn't say that it keeps me engaged. It keeps me aware that I have to log in every 5 days and do my dark rifts as soon as possible. But I believe for how they did them, they kinda went too soft on the silver cost side of things and too hard on the time gating, which it creates a lot of feeling like it's not an effort investment. It's more like you have a chore that you have to do every X amount of days, and you have to do it every X amount of days, or you miss out. And we know what that turns into, the classic FOMO, the fear of missing out. And I enjoyed BDO for years because, again, compared to something like, I don't know, Lost Ark, you could kind of do what you wanted when you wanted. You could take a month, 2 months playing very chill and then go deep on the grind to catch up. Now you have a lot of very weekly, daily stuff like that, and if it's about the Ataraxian or party bosses, it's kind of whatever. It's just money at the end of the day. With the Dania bosses, with the armor upgrades, kind of whatever. You don't really need the DP. But for the Alchemy Stone changes, you kind of need to go for it. You kind of
Yep.
want to go for it, and being this heavily time gated, it feels a bit annoying. But yeah, like I was engaged with the game before. I am still engaged. That like it didn't change anything for me. You would have to see for a player that is not normally as engaged if it makes them feel engaged or if it just feels like a chore.
Because I want to throw this question, like as Quendia, like we mentioned how important or how rare, how meaningful these objects were before. Nowadays, I can guarantee you there's somewhere a Tuvala teamy that just one tapped into shiny, and does that trigger you in a way, Quendia? Like someone that has played way less has this such an impactful and important game in all the aspects.
No, I do not hate that thing. In BDO, everything, like I used it. Normally, if I would play other games or never play BDO, I would be okay. But in BDO, everything is just getting easier and easier. But most of the time, when PA made something easier to reach, they had something better. And I'm expecting something better about Alchemy Stones in future, especially with the Adania Part 2. That's what I'm expecting. And some kind of enhancement system maybe, because they can't milk people about Cronstones. And I'm expecting something like that.
Yeah, could be a good point. I was gonna say, also referring to what Archive said, maybe reducing a little bit, because for example, my take on the Alchemy Stone, it doesn't trigger me, but I don't find it very logical that someone that is like on Tuvala can have access to a shiny, right? It's not like the progression of that gear has been lost in some sort of way. So I want to like go on the line that Archive said, reducing a little bit the time gated sort of thing, and alleviate a little bit the difference for all these players that are like veterans and advanced ones. How about we would add like, I don't know, 2 splendid or splendid taps for Sephiroth, Boss, Edania, and 1 for Kartin. Because in my head it would feel better, right? You would give better chances to the players that already are there and are only missing that, so alleviate a little bit of the time gate. And you also like give a little bit of an advantage in a way. It sort of compensates. It makes it like also in a sense better progression, right? I don't know what you guys think. You can discuss if you think this is a good or a bad idea.
I mean, this is something that exactly what I said, right? They have to, right? It's right now, like once again, upgrading it, have that FOMO. It's a silver thing for the older players still, right? Because yes, while newer players can tap shiny straight away, right? Newer players don't also have like 12 billion just lying around every single 5 days, right? That's not a thing, right? We gotta look at the both sides of the coin here. But no, that's completely fair to make it less time gated. But that goes back to what I'm saying, that right now it's a time sink. It's a silver sink, right? It's gonna have the early adopters who has a 10% attack speed. That's gonna barely make a bloody difference in their grinding or even a PvP. Obviously, depending on the class. If you're a Zerker, you're not gonna see that much of a difference. If you're a Sock Ranger, then yeah, of course, right? More attack speed means more damage overall. So it's actually it also depends on the player who's playing it, how important it is to have this, to pay this early adopter class, which attacks, which is honestly kind of unfair on the class wise, because some classes may actually benefit way more from more attack speeds for grinding than other classes who has this like set rotation already going on with like a 7 seconds set rotation in PvE, right? And if you break further than that, you start going into abilities that you already use, and that's actually a detriment, right? There could be a lot of argument going on that way, and it's just really, really muddled, you know? Overall on how the people can approach this. But I definitely agree with you on in terms of the making Zephyros and maybe even the bosses to have a extra tap time every single
No.
week because
It
you
shouldn't
usually
be like
just have get out.
too much, right? But something, right? Because it's just the progression matter that for me it has been lost a little bit in my head. Like, sure, make it accessible, but for me, in my head, it doesn't make sense that someone that is in Tubala state acquires a shiny, right? It doesn't like fits in my head on how the game should be going, but maybe that's what they want.
I mean, it
want,
doesn't fit
like,
in
the
my
play.
head currently, right? That someone who has Koala can have immediately a silver weapon, and yet here we are, right? There's no linear progression from black star to silver.
Yeah.
You can actually just straight up have silver due to a later thing that we're going to talk about over
No.
Academy, right?
No. Yep.
So,
For
so
sure.
it's essentially with what PA is doing, it's quite it's quite very much breaking the gear progression formula. But we'll like right now it's not really set in stone. It's only been like what 2 months, so we have to see where it goes.
Yep. I think there's gonna be like 1 year and a half where people are just gonna be sitting in Splendid. One quick thing to notice is that the first ones that actually managed to sell their Splendids at 800 billion, good for use. Now they're like reaching very like what was it? Very low numbers actually.
Bro, did you
So,
hear about
like-
Did you hear from Rokon?
Oh yeah, Rokon one tapped his shiny. Yeah.
He one tapped the Shining, then he two tapped
No.
the Splendid, then he sold it.
Oh, yep. I
Like,
have heard him.
I have no fucking words, man.
In case anybody doesn't know Rocken, he's like a very like the top 2 Sage tournament masterclass. He's been in the podcast before. Shoutouts to him. He's a very good, exceptional Awakening Sage player. He one-tapped his shiny, so he went with another Alchemy Stone, and he two-tapped another Splendid, and that one he sold it. But yeah, the man is like up huge. I guess I wish it could be me, but sadly it isn't. But yeah, let's swap the topic. Let's go onto another edition. Unless someone else has to say or close anything with the Alchemy Stones, I think we've jabbed a little bit about it.
I'm okay with adding how to say diversity in the game. Like most of the contents that people do not prefer can be word boss, for example. They can add it. You can get a little bit.
Yeah.
They can add some kind of seal to word boss, and you can have it for weekly again. Diversity, just spread it all around the world, and when people do the different contents, they will obtain that thing. There is only not on destruction. People may want to do the DP version or life skill version. They're also my goal. When I just have my shining, maybe it's in 1 year, I will just speed it, or I will just tap it in the next few weeks. Who knows? And I'll just do the other ones. So diversity, I'm always the side of the diversity. Game can be easy, but like if someone play the game, I'm okay with that diversity.
Like I do think the priority for like 90% of the players is actually like the AP one. I did check the life skill ones, but I'm pretty certain it's not that impactful actually. But yeah, for that topic, maybe we can wait to have like a life skill oriented guest and ask them what he thinks about that. And also there's another topic that maybe we can just do on a surface level, and then maybe when we get a life skill person, we can jab about it. But yeah, I'm gonna introduce the next topic, which honestly I'm very excited about, which is the introduction of a revamped spot, like a traditional spot that I'm pretty certain that most of the community has loved for years, which is Star's End. Star's End traditionally was one of my best, if not most favorite spot to grind on. And a couple of weeks ago, it received a revamp in which the northern traditional rotations were transformed into the not top, like shared with Sephiroth. They are now the top grinding spots. We are waiting for the Sekraya revamp too, so those 3 will sit on the top grind spots. But yeah, I'm very excited. I don't know how you guys feel about this spot. I'm gonna say that I pretty much enjoy it. I actually love the fact that we are moving around the map instead of staying stuck in one spot. And yeah, I feel like it's well balanced. There's no pulling too much. There's a little bit of issue with pets getting all the trash that we can jab about. But overall, I love the spot. Let's hear from you guys. How did you enjoy the new spot, Archive? Have you been able to run there?
I have grinded already a whole bunch at Starsen. I'm gonna say for some it might be a hot take, for for others less so. I'm not impressed.
Okay.
It feels like they tried to kinda like with the fact that the crystals have a DP buff when you first like before you get close enough to it, and the waves that spawn after. They kinda try to apply some of the philosophy they've been trying to apply to PvE in like that made grinding spots kind of balanced across classes to Starsen. But it didn't translate well, because the layout of the spot of the area is clearly not built for it, and basically we run into a situation that is worse off than the older spots, because now you have basically a lot of inequality between classes, unlike Dania or tower spots where a lot of classes could fairly easily reach the top performances. At Starsen there is a lot of disparity between classes, as well as there is a lot of disparity between the different rotations. Like there is only one rotation that is actually really good, another one that is fairly good, and then the others are bad, either because they are lacking, like they don't have enough crystals and you end up over clearing very consistently, or because for how the rotations are built, you can't backtrack for to pick up the loot that you left behind, which if you want to min-max the spot, you kind of have to do. So I feel like they had some really good ideas with the rework. I like the amount of mobs that like straight up swarms you. I like the mechanics of the crystal that absorbs the mobs and then DP buffs them on the ground. Like the mechanics are good, but the layout of the rotations and the limitations of pet pickups is just not it. It makes the experience so much worse than it could be.
Interesting take. I mean, I do understand, and there's probably a lot of people actually talking about maybe they should increase the number of pets that we are allowed to take out when we are grinding or whatever. But yeah, that's a good point of view. I've seen a lot of classes perform in Starsen, and I would say that the disparity, like from what I've seen, it wasn't too bad. But I have also seen like the top tier grind classes. There's only one case. There's Flirty, Succession Corsair. You guys may know him. He quickly called me to like show him how the spot was working, and the poor man wasn't able to like do the down bosses when they were popping up in his combo. So yeah, that's like a bad situation, maybe because of his gear, but I'm pretty certain he's geared enough to be able to do so, and I know that Succession Corsair is actually struggling on that. So yeah, there might be class disparity that maybe I wasn't aware, as Archive mentioned. How about you, Quenya? Did you enjoy the Starsen spot? I've seen you do crazy numbers on Awakening Dracania.
Awakened Dracania has, after the buffs, like the nature of the class is, mobility. And when you need mobility in any type of spots, she's good. Like, you cannot just deny that. She's S+ at any type of spots that requires mobility. For example, Golden PK, or for example, Darkseeker Street. She's just naturally designed for, these type of situations. And what I can say about Starsen, some kind of okayish topic. And but give me a little bit of time. I'm just fighting with 15 people.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, just
you're fighting for your life.
Like, yeah, never mind. So here's the thing: Starsen, it just came pretty good. It's because in the first week it was just giving me like 1 to 3 doubles per hour. But next week they just ninja nerfed it. Yeah, they just ninja nerfed it. Nobody can deny that. Nobody can say that. No, they didn't nerf it or something. Like, they just ninja nerfed it, and
I actually agree. I'm getting less earrings over there.
Yeah, like
Yeah. But also the first week I had castle buff. So I don't know how
I
much
have
of a
castle buff right
difference
now. I barely get maybe one. Most of the times, I do not get any earrings. No. So they just nerfed it, but they didn't mention it in the patch notes. It's classic PA. When they add a new spot, they just do these type of nerfs, buffs, the ninja patch, and they also just buff the threshold. They wanted to make the threshold is equal to the Zephyros threshold. But in the current state, the colors are going in at a mean price, and that spot will require more buffs. Maybe threshold, maybe some other things. But if the color sits on mean price, and if you cannot sell it, the most of the main things will not be able to. You'll not be able to sell them.
Yeah. It would only
And
be like
yeah,
trash values.
It will be bad. Yeah, the gluttony price and everything will sit on mean price. And like for example, it's what was the name? At Zephyros, you're not having problem because you can still sell most of the items. And they added the colors also the Zephyros, and right now Zephyros is just better than Stars End. If you not get any some kind of very special thing, it's Stars End.
Overall, per average, I think it was like Zephyros with only level 2 loot scroll. It's like on average 300 million superior to Stars End. So yeah, I
3,500 I can say 300, 500.
The funny thing is that the PA buffing Stars End was also an indirect buff to Zephyros. Why? Because they buff Stars End, more people move from Zephyros to Stars End, meaning there's less people supplying the market with end times and heralds, meaning those go up in price, and Zephyros goes up in value.
Yep.
No. It's so like I'm happy because of the reason we talked about it before in some other episodes in which we really asked PA to include, like, for example, Oil of Immortalities to some spots, which they have. They don't drop too often, but at least you find them on the marketplace, which is nice. I think also the Nodeware kind of events kind of made them less popular there because people were actually buying them to get the upgraded versions of the perfumes and the droughts. But I do think that they're gonna balance a little bit on their price in a little bit, like, in the future, unless there's a lot of like massive players coming back to Nodewares, which until the 2-hour Nodewares come back, maybe we don't see that.
No, I don't think it will save something. At least it will change something.
Yeah, but other than that, I think we can all agree that Zephyros is just still the best grind spot, which is not bad because in my case, I do like Starsen. I've actually find my old rotation that I did. Now I'm doing it with all my gear. I'm just having a blast. I'm having a good time. It doesn't take me any effort if I want to do 1-2 hours consecutive. I just go there, do my 2 hours, cash out. I'm fine with the game. Go back to fishing. That's what I do. But honestly, I'm enjoying it. Like I do not mind myself. Like on the contrary side, I cannot do like 1 more hour after I'm done with the first one on Zephyros. So yeah, I don't know how to feel about that. Maybe PA wants to keep Edania on top for some other reason, but yeah. Also, I wanted to ask you, Hazy, do you happen to have the gear to grind in Starsen?
No, I mean, of course.
I was gonna ask.
I have enough to now grind Gyfin, but no longer Stars End. I mean, I can grind lower Edania these days, but this is actually where I want to actually get a little bit of my opinion out there. It's such a missed opportunity, right? Because yes, Stars End, as you said, it's just like it's such a big nostalgia bait, first of all, right? And every single old player, we gotta go to Stars End, right? It's back, it's amazing. And then as Archive says it, wait, it's the same shit. And the thing is, it's so class dependent, which is fine, right? But where it's the missed opportunity is that it doesn't fill a gear gap, right? Right now, we have a lot of places to grind, right, for all gear score, right? But we are missing a gap, right? And if you see, on Garmoth or in game, right, on the damage caps, there is a very, very big gap between everything before Obiter and Obiter.
Between
Right.
Orsekia and Orbitan? What are the
I
caps?
think that
Orsekia is 1590 and Orbita is 1850, right?
yes. So we are missing
Yeah, there's a big
gap.
gap on that, yeah.
We are missing a gap at the 1.7 gear score range, right?
No.
We're
And
missing
you
a gap
don't think that Gyfin and Mirumok are gonna be able to fill that gap? Because they're like on
Mirumok fills
1600.
Mirumok fills the 1.5 gap, right? Gyfin fits the 1.6 gap. Where's the 1.7 gap? Right?
Gyfin is,
And the thing is, those-
like 1.7, no?
It's
Yeah,
only
1.7,
1.7, right? And also it's also a party spot, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can't grind it. You can't grind it without like booking an appointment with someone, right? So like my question is, it was such a missed opportunity to play Stars End as a solo spot in that specific area, since, as Archive said, right, it's a very class variant spot. So that means you get, by placing Stars End there, not as the best spot, PA essentially accomplishes the task of keeping Idani on top, but also makes testing out going back to the old formula where power spots are no longer the norm, right? To see how that works out with the players that used to grind there back then. It's such a missed opportunity to like fill that gap as a single player, like test your class out, test what works, what doesn't work, right? Going back to that very fun like theory crafting PvE stage of things, right? Instead of making it stick at such a end game spot that is gated against 99.9% of the players, right? And also make it so, you know, have that class diversity. So that means that there's actually meta classes at a what is arguably a very end game spot, right? Compared
Like
to compared to Zephyrs.
Yeah,
And
like if
they
we take...
could have done it.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go on.
I was gonna say that maybe how much of the community, like BDO wise, is able to grind now on Sephiroth and Starsen? Could we say like 10%? Is it too much of the
It is too
community?
much.
Too much, way too much.
Yeah, maybe maximum 5%, maximum. With
5%?
with like some, you know, there are some people that they want to grind at Zephyros Stars and they're grinding with low AP because they need items from there. They have an option that at Tenebrome, they most of the time stay at Tenebrome, but sometimes at maximum 5%, I can say, because in my stream there are lots of, you know, mid game players or early part of the end game players. Zephyros is too hard for them.
And referring
And another
to what
thing I
you...
want to add
Oh, yeah,
as
sorry.
well, right? It's the fact that Starden introduced cosmetics, right?
Oh, yeah, I actually...
Yeah,
I'm
it's amazing. It's amazing. I know, it's
for
amazing.
them.
Yeah, you
I'm
want to
thrilled
grind for them.
Get them, actually.
But the thing is, right, it's once again, this is why putting it at such a end game, such a end stop point is so annoying, right? Because there's so many players that before that spot that want to grind for the cosmetics, right? Back then it worked with what's it called? It worked with the compasses. It worked with all the treasure spots, right? And yeah. And now it's just like, okay, there's a new cosmetic thing that is an objective, right, for you to get as a not quality of life, but like, you know, something to look nice, and it's locked at the end game, right? Instead of being locked as a really rare item in the mid to end game, right? So this kind of forces people to like not even bother by it, right? Because back then you always had the option to either grind normally or you grind for treasure items, because it's like, oh yeah, that's sick, you know. But these days you don't really get the option to grind for. Oh right, I mean, I'm just gonna go grind for. I'm just gonna grind for what's it called, cosmetic now, because yeah, that option really exists unless you are literally at the end.
Okay. I mean, I honestly, like, in my case, I would have loved them to make the you know, the glows, the purple and the red one, like not like common. Like maybe the red could be Starsen. Maybe also put it to Sephiroth. But the Sakraya one was supposed to be purple, right? So gate it in there. And I think, okay, maybe that's my take. But making it sellable kinda makes it lose like the exclusivity of the
Definitely.
item. And
Should have been a third item.
it should have been like the La Orseka outfit, in which you had to grind Turos, you had to grind Oluns, and not many people actually accomplished it at first. But I feel like putting it on the marketplace feels like off, doesn't feel right.
By the way, is there any on the market? It just, you know, just for reference. Is there any on the market as of the current moment?
I don't know. PTs, like the small parts for sure.
Okay, yeah. That's just not good. Because the thing is, if it's something cosmetic, that doesn't impact gameplay, right? You should be feel rewarded for grinding for it. It shouldn't be something that you can just I buy it, right? That's not great. Especially when you're trying to tailor the spot. Like, it's so contradictory because you're trying to tailor the spot for the end game players, right? Which are the most tryhard, the most hardcore players in the game. And then all of a sudden you make this shit like make it sellable. You make the end game cosmetic, like not gatekeeping it is actually such a bad thing because the hardcore players you lose trust on the people who's at the really end, right? Who are basically your founding stones because they want that as people like said it before and again, they are the founding stones for the community to build up on because that's who they learn from.
Yeah.
Right, and not having that prestige, not having that what's it called, not having that something that makes you different, right, makes this MMO less of an MMO, and that's on game philosophy it fails, right? So it's like, anyways,
it fails stuff. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, since we mentioned it, have you guys tried Mirumok and Gyfin Upper?
Yes, sir.
Have you guys enjoyed them so far? Because I feel like it was also, in two senses, a missed opportunity in my eyes. So, for example, I feel like Gyfin could have fit the 1700 mark and do like the silver between Orsikia and Orbita. I feel like it could have fit that gap. And in that regard, that's a missed opportunity. And also, I feel like it would have been a perfect opportunity for PvPers to gather up on a chill spot. Because, let's be honest, the mechanic is, in my eyes, fun enough to keep you entertained, to keep you on track of what you're doing at a tower spot, to see if it glows dark, glows light, then kill this mob, do that, all that. But in my eyes, it would have been so nice if they actually dropped the Trent sturdy things to upgrade the tendons. Like if it's like an item that it's Kama Sylvia oriented, right? Because they dropped from the voodoo dolls for the Manchowns. And I feel like if you already accepted the fact that you want to drop Oil of Immortality from top endgame spots, why not give the players with the same drop rate, maybe, the sturdy things, right? We would go to Noteware, fight on the grind on that spot, and recover some of the whales that we used during Noteware. I feel like it could have been a nice and it wouldn't have broke the market at all. What do you guys think?
Mansion rework, maybe?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they did
that could definitely work.
rework the relics, the odd Delita horns, and I believe like the scrolls, but not the Manchowns ones. You're right.
Right, because the thing is, as you said, sturdy, right? Sturdy treads, by law, that is a Mansion thing because it comes from Mansion voodoo dolls, right? So it does just make sense if they just make a sturdy forest tread dropped by Mansions and make Mansions that gap filler, like it's a solo spot, right? So you make that the gap filler, either making a deckier spot or making it like the normal spot, a normal grinding spot, like it is now. And along with, but the problem is Mansion is a potion spot, right? You gotta keep in mind that that's the problem.
Yeah. But overall, from my side, I didn't test too much Mirumok, but Gyfin was good. But I felt like I felt a little bit bad about the money that you made. I felt like it was supposed to be a little bit more. I don't know if you guys agree. How did you find, like, is the spot entertaining? What are your thoughts on it? Is it sitting on a right place, money-wise?
Money-wise is bad.
I think they could have. They kind of.
Mirror is good, life is bad.
They missed an opportunity with the tokens that you drop that you can exchange for the Elvia shards. That was completely unnecessary, and as a matter of fact, it collapsed the economy of the shards together with the Elvia Academy. Like them together collapsed the economy completely. They could have done something else with those tokens, like make them exchangeable for sturdies or for immortals or for a bunch of other things. But then, yeah, like a small buff to the trash loot maybe, or to the demo drop rate could be nice. Gyfin, I think Gyfin is nice, just a tiny buff maybe.
Yeah, I feel like
Mirumok, money-wise, I feel like Mirumok is where it should be, considering it's a 350 AP spot.
It should be where the Dark Seeker sits, right? So it's over there, more or less.
Oh wait, Dark Seeker, I forgot it. Dark Seeker was 350. Damn. Yeah, look, the spots are busted. But Mirumok, I found it to be boring. I'm gonna be real. I went
that's
on release day of those Gyfin spots. I went together with ADEX to test the spots on live.
yeah.
And we went Gyfin, we had some fun, the mechanics were fun. Okay, the money could have been a bit better, but then we went to Mirumok, 20 minutes in we were falling asleep.
Yeah, Mirumok is too bad.
Yeah.
It's
so
And there's nothing special in Mirumok.
It's the thing about Mirumok right now is that it's the double key effect, right? It's basically like the same amount of like shown as double key. It's like if where you want to go when you're like, oh, I just don't wanna think, right? And I will fucking defend this form, right? I will defend this form because Mirumok is all ironically my class's best spot right now.
Oh jeez, no.
Yeah, holy moly, my class actually just like Orlan's too, yeah, crazy. But it makes probably some of the worst classes in the game to grind actually viable. So I will fucking defend it because it's actually good trash and money in terms of for me because for 1 hour I believe my average was 26k, right? Because Shock Ranger can hit every single target. It's amazing. Right. For me, it's actually great progression. Oh my god, that's amazing. But like, I get it. For the more meta classes out there, that is just bad. But for some of the lesser classes, right? It's like grinding Orlan's 2 all over again, and it's great. It's great in terms of like actually progressive, right? As someone who's on a class that is off meta, that is not there for that want to play the class just because of that class, right? It gives that option for progression, which is great. But I completely get it. It's boring, right? But I gotta defend it on that point.
Okay. Anything that is left to talk about Gyfin and Mirumok spots that dropped, guys? Any sort of last words about
spots
that?
needs buff and expecting something from Dekia spots. It was just some kind of would be a mistake. Yeah, it's just like Dekia spots and Dekia 2.1 is not important. Expecting something from Dekia spots, the idea of the Dekia is completely limited, boring, and they try to make it good and appealing for Gyfin. Definitely, the Gyfin is slightly better than the Mirumok. But Mirumok is
Gyfin I enjoyed it, but it's just I agree. It's like the results are not appealing enough to actually like grind it. The mechanic is not bad or super boring in itself.
So,
but
I also agree
I'm really looking forward for the Edania one, the 3 people one that it's supposed to be like sitting on Tenebrum levels of income. I'm really looking forward to that one.
Yeah,
because it's not going to be
archive.
Apparently the Decan one, but go Guanyu.
I agree with the archive, and archive said that they destroyed the economy of the cup prices. Like they wanted to do it to help newbies, but our developers, we always say that they're not playing their game in depth. And in the early game stage, after season graduation in Elvia Academy times, and you were just printing money at Serendi Elvia. It was pretty good place to just, one step forward. While people playing the game were just chill grinding, they were just printing 2 billion per hour with the cup prices. But with that thing, they just added the cup pieces or shards into Gyfin and Mirumok. They just shake the market a little bit. Instead of that, you could add anything in the game, like Starry Thread thing is just an amazing example. You can add anything, but not the Serendi Elvia thing. Why are you adding just any type of things? Like, what was the name of that item? Let me try to find it.
The shadow thingy, whatever it's called.
Yeah, it's Void something.
Yeah, Void. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense lore-wise, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense, like... it's just like it skips progression, and the thing is, like as Archive said, like it's and as well as Quendia said, it shouldn't be there, and it jumps progression, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, we already have Elvia Academy, which they released at the same time, by the way, to jump progression with the cups, right, for the new players. So why this? And that is very just doesn't make sense, does it?
It doesn't sit on the right place, definitely. Like, given Elvia Serendia, like the nature of acquiring your cups, learning the game with 2 bala gear, felt okay. Like, I'm fine actually with them being able to put the shards on the marketplace. I'm actually not against that, but it doesn't make to drop that item on a spot that is not supposed to be on that specific gear spot, right? But maybe that's I think it's unanimous here that we think in that way. But yep, let's move on to another topic if you guys want. I'm not gonna go into much detail, but in between the times that we've done the last episode and this one, it's been like actually a long time, like 1 month and a half or something like that. So there's also been tiny, buffs onto the amount of byproducts that we get onto life skills. And since nobody here is like a pro on life skills, I don't want to go too much in depth. But like actually, we are getting a lot of byproducts now with gathering, with farming. Like, I'm grinding my ass off for contribution points and reworking my entire worker empire with that. Like, the amount of byproducts also, I feel like they were also addressing the the need for sharps, for the alchemy stone taps.
Yeah.
And I feel like it was also a clever way to balance it out, the price in the marketplace, with the Okila thing for the alchemies. I don't know. It actually feels nice. I have to check numbers, and probably we can ask in future episodes with life skills gurus. But money income on life skill has been quite bumped up. I don't know if you guys agree. I've heard also good stuff with the training. Did you guys experiment with anything?
I have like the full farming setup. I have farming the +5 still being embroidered farming one, right?
Let's go.
I have like amazing, right? So like I've been doing farming since forever. So I noticed like the leaves getting more. There's more leaves, right? I thought it's the audience. No, it's just more in general. But like let's push back on the framing for a moment, because like byproducts was never like honor-rated, right?
No.
People took them for granted, and they always calculated them in, right? And if you didn't count in byproducts, you weren't really life skill per se, right? Because you want that EXP, you want to progression mastery. But the problem here is, right, no matter how much byproduct changes or how much Elvia Academy pushes it, you always will have the passive life scaling like byproducts like be better, and like passive life scaling be better, right? Because the thing is, one of the things that it's all like it's the question since the dawn of time is that which one's better, active life scaling or active grinding, right?
Yeah.
And that's here's my take. It's like it might be a hot take to some, but yeah, if you are given the same amount of money, PA will always keep live scaling worse than active grinding, always.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep,
And
yep.
if that's not incompetence from the players, that's intentional from the game, right? Because the thing is, like if we take it from a business perspective, passive live scaling means more players online. More players online means obviously AFK fishing, right? Means better metrics,
Yeah.
and better metrics make the game looks healthy and investors to have better releases and look out tournaments, right? But of course, that means that live scaling must take the scapegoat in terms of like just passive farm because PvE can't do that, and that in that case it cannot ever have a active part. But by having the byproducts in there, rounding back to the the topic here, right? Having byproducts giving you that massive jump in EXP by live scaling, I think is a W due to the fact that it does give you that reward, right? Of I get more EXP. I get more contribution points, and
Yes.
I get more mastery, which is the main progression of live scaling.
Yeah. Yep. I do agree. I feel like it's overall W's across the board, and it feels nice to actually revisit this sort of content in the game. I'm actually enjoying it. I'm actually finding myself doing more alchemy these days. I find myself farming every 3-4 hours my farms. I don't know. I feel like an old man sitting in my farm doing whatever I
the thing
need.
is,
I just feel like in peace. I just see the sun rising in BDO. I see the sun rising in my window, and then I say, "Oh, what a beautiful life." Then I go to PvP and I want to do bad things. But yeah,
and it's gone
other
even
than
more stable
that,
these days, right?
yes,
Because
yes,
if you think about
it's
it,
enjoyable.
shops these days, right? Think about it. The profits has basically stabilized because shops is going to stay at 5 mil no matter what happens because alchemy stuff. And then what's it called? I mean, that's not going to last forever, but right now, live scaling will be like the most like it's passive, but it is the most stable thing that you can ever do in this game as of currently.
Yeah,
right.
I think so. And it's actually like it will always keep that nature that you do it at your own pace. You're not like rushing into any certain goal. Like everything just it's so beautiful constructed that everything will like if you hunt you get bloods and meat that you will use for cooking, for alchemy, you will get this and that you will use here. It's not like you see the pure silver, but you just build something that if you touch a little bit on all the life skills it will grow up. And it's like the sense of going to get saps, to get into the environment, look at everything, move around. I don't know, it's just a good feeling for me. I
Yeah, it's
will
the closest
always
thing
give
that
life skills.
people was gonna get to from
Yeah.
touching grass, online.
Yeah. Yep. You guys should
Oh,
touch
yeah.
grass more often, but yeah, it feels nice. I can guarantee that. But yeah, we can move on to something that we have mentioned a lot, and probably is the last topic, not PvP oriented, that we have. So I really want to talk about this one. Because in my defense, or before we start the topic, I will let you guys talk about this one because I haven't done it. I want to actually do it with my boyfriend because I'm starting to teach him from zero, from scratch, the game. And I want him to finish the season and then get into doing the Elvia Academy.
Here we go.
The Elvia Academy, whenever they announced it, it was like such a good feeling, right? Because chronically, this game has struggled to retain new players, right? They would do their seasons, they wouldn't know what everything is like supposed to go or how it would work. And this is the main problem that I think that BDO had for this like retention, player retention. How do you guys have found this new Elvia Academy project? Do you guys think it's successful? Do you guys think that it covers this necessity of the game to actually capture and explain players? Or do you guys think that at the same time that this is an attempt, like, because I've always think of this way: the content creators, like the traditional ones, the newer ones, everyone giving content and explaining players, is the main reason that most of us are here today playing the game. Is this helpful? Does it get from you guys? How do you guys feel like about the Elvia Academy project?
I want to start it
I know
first.
it's a loaded question, but I will let you start. Sure, Quenya, go.
Before I start the RBF match, I want to just share what I think about Elvia Academy. Elvia Academy is
Oh, jeez.
like for last 2-3 years, I can say one of the best project that PA added in the game. No doubt for that.
Okay.
Because it brings lots of people. And also when I talk with people, with newbies in my chat, they were always just complaining about, bro, there are lots of things in game, but there is no enough guide. Like people were saying that if I wouldn't find your Twitch, if I wouldn't find your YouTube or other YouTubers, streamers, I would just, I'll be missing and I'll just probably just quit. That's what most people do. There are lots of casual players doing this. They spend like 7-10 days in the game, like casual a few hours every day. Nobody is leading them. But this time, I would love to see some kind of same guidance for when people start the game, and then season, and then Elvia Academy. For like some kind of primary school, and then high school, it's season, and then academy is university for game. I would love to see some kind of early stage, but overall, definitely 10 out of 10. It's just giving people the basics of the game. Like, I don't think anyone just, dislike that content. I have nothing to say. Like, if finally PA did some kind of good job.
Okay. So
Yeah, I agree.
overall, you would say that it serves the purpose. It's a good project.
Mostly,
They
yeah.
should keep expanded onto
Mm.
this. The rewards, I've heard, they are bananas. Yeah. So
The rewards are good. Everything is good. Like, they literally gave people right now 2 free Sorans with that thing.
No, that's also
What can be better? Soran is the best in slot weapon right now in the game, and they start the game with 2 best in slot weapons.
Yeah. So what mark would you give it out of 10, the project? Is it a complete 10? Is it something that makes it not be a 10?
Me?
It's not 10.
Yeah.
But 20 I probably would put it as 10.
Yeah, I'm just giving
Is
10.
Is it a 10 for you? 10 out of 10? Okay.
It's just 10 out of 10. Like I don't want to give details just because content has insane amount of details. It's just meaningless.
Okay. What about you, Hazy? What are your thoughts on the Elvia Academy project?
I mean, I agree with what Quendy is saying because, credit where credit is due. It's a win, right? It's a dub. It's a W. It's probably the clearest win that we have from everything we discussed and will discuss today, right? And it's in a bit, but the problem is it's essentially fixing a vital problem that we've been facing all this time, right? How PA basically admitting that they messed up early game progression, right? So badly that they have to build a whole bloody separate program system to just skip it, right? Elvia Academy is essentially early game now, right? That is what it is. And how you get from finishing story after like level 58, level 60 for the first time, right? And after that, the actual early game, it's not worth it if it's gone, right? Basically, it's ancient lost media because it's just that bad, right? Because PA messed up. So Elvia Academy is great, but it actually does reveal a slightly deeper problem, and that is BDO struggles to get new players in the first place.
Yes.
Right. Once again, BDO with the new player retention, right? This is why I didn't put it as 10. It is really close to a 10. The project's great. Don't get me wrong. It is the clearest win they had in possibly years, right? But it is there is still a friction problem, right? Because how you get people into the game is not just giving them tons of stuff. It's yes, giving guides is great, but that's only one of the factors. You still have the friction of the inconvenience that you caused yourself, right? If I was PA, right, just on the tangent here,
An
I would-
hypothesis,
Yeah, if I was PA, right, one of the things I would actually just do is to remove all friction for the first month or two, right? For example, one of the biggest frictions, what is it? Tent, right? Tent, one of the biggest frictions. You can't grind without a tent. That is just, you can't like go anywhere, right? So conveniently without a tent or fairy, right? If PA were to give out a free tent or a fairy for the first month, right, to remove that friction from the players to retain them, right, then make it, for example, 80% off after that for people to buy, like the new starter pack these days and new players can buy.
Yeah.
Then you remove that friction as much as possible in the first month or two, in order to get the people in to retain them, along with the help of Elvia Academy, right? I love Elvia Academy as a 9 out of 10 because it addresses so much early game progression, but it still doesn't address that friction that is the player has to deal with in terms of the pay-to-win aspect of the game, right? If you can remove that for the first part of the new player journey and then slowly ease them into it. By the way, I sound really fucking like evil right now, but like that's what PA should do, right? To basically trap people in, right? That's essentially how you're supposed to retain players, but they're not doing it. I guess they just hate money or something, you know?
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, I mean, oh well, what can I say?
Right, Elvia Academy addresses a lot of things. It's great.
Yeah. Overall, I just want to get to do it with my boyfriend, see how it does feel for him, because overall, this is like it was like my project to see how a person, like a casual person that plays video games, like he plays League of Legends, how would he feel like experimenting the game from scratch? And for now, I'm like showing the basics. I've introduced him to some of the life skills. I've shown him like Belia. We've done the Balenos, like the Balenos main quest. And the way I thought about it is like, okay, let's complete the Medalla until the Medalla main quest, because actually one of the requirements for the first free Pen Black Star is to complete that main quest or the Eternal Winter one. But I decided that, okay, let's do it in that way until Medalla, finish up the season, and then start with the Elvia Academy. I feel like that start for him is going to be a nightmare because everyone hates questing, even new players. They just CBA. Like, it's going to be the first time that I actually do the new Serendia and Balenos main quests with the introduction of the cutscenes and everything. And I'm already like feeling sort of bad because it's not appealing for anyone, sadly.
Yeah, and
so I really want to get into the Elvia Academy and see really how this new content is gonna sit on him. Really.
Yeah.
Okay, hold up 1 second.
And that's it. That's what it is.
Theron messaged me. He says that he is here, so technically he could jump with us. Actually, with the Elvia Academy, he could give us the insight. You can go, Hazy.
Yeah, but that's what it's like essentially with your boyfriend, right? That's what I'm talking about with questing. That's still friction, right? You need to remove this friction, right? If that friction is removed, it'd be so much easier. Like you get people in the game so much easier than anything else. And honestly, props to you, right? Because we talked about Elvia Academy basically removing early game progression as a factor. That's great, right? Where I talked about how removing pay-to-win elements early game is a factor.
Yeah.
But with what you're talking about, the community matters here too, right? That's like arguably one of the other really main factors, right? Because be honest, right? There are some truly special players in this game that would absolutely ruin a new player experience. But also there's also some amazing dedicated player base out there, right, that have the knowledge and experience to help a new player to reach new heights in this game and have given the best experience they can have within the world of Black Knight Online. And I genuinely think that is amazing. right? That's great. But yeah, overall, I wish they can just remove that final barrier, being the fiction, and with both questing and have a better ease in with the pay to win aspect of it, and then after that is, and then after that you retain the player and they make their own decision instead of just like, oh, what's this? I need to buy this in order to progress in the game better. Oh, what's this?
Yeah.
I need to quest for like 3 fucking hours just to play the game. Yeah, those are things that first impression turn you away. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
I definitely agree. And talking about pay to win, actually, Hazy, now that you mention it, I do believe that we just got Heralden into the call. He has recently just released a video talking about all the pay to win that it's been involved in BDO and how the pay to win history, has been evolving in the situation. So that's a nice way to introduce Heralden. Hello, are you here? Do you hear us? Is it me, the only person that I'm not listening to him?
I can't hear him.
Hold up. Maybe it's just me. No, everyone doesn't hear him, right?
No, I don't hear him. No.
I think he cannot hear you. Sadly. Probably he's trying to fix it right now, which is completely fine. Hold up. There's some technical difficulties. We will get him. He's here.
Yeah.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello?
we can hear you now. Welcome, Heralden. Thank you for being here and finishing up aerial stuff and figuring out and just being here. So yeah, take it away. Introduce yourself, please.
Just 1 second. I can hear myself. I have technical problems yesterday, so I had to end early.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
Okay, there we go.
Don't worry.
All right. Sorry about that. So talking about the pay to win element, one of the things that's funny about this is that, and I like that we're talking about Elvia Academy and we're talking about pay to win together. I always think about how BDO is as the journey evolves for players. So we're already BDO players. We've already bought into what Black Desert Online is. So now we're playing it. We've been playing it for a long time. I'm playing it for like 10 years now, right? We have an incredibly loyal player base as an MMO genre. But the MMO genre is dying. This is not a popular genre anymore.
No.
We used to be the one of the kings of the market. People aren't making new MMOs. And the writing's on the wall. We are in trouble as a genre. We are very heavily invested in Black Desert Online. The investment that we put into Black Desert Online does not go towards Black Desert. It goes towards Crimson Desert, or it goes towards Toki V. So when you buy pearls, typically, and most people have this mindset of, I don't mind spending money on the game because I'm playing the game and I want to see the game be developed. That hasn't been the case for a very long time. We have been developing side projects instead of the game that we're actually playing. To make matters worse, from the new player experience coming in, where is the buy-in? That we are already in a very unpopular genre, and then they can see the end is very much just a cron grind. So without anything to grind for, where is the buy-in? And I kind of addressed this a little bit in the video. If we think about our subscription model, like these are things that we feel like are making the game more accessible, more fun. You buy a $50 tent, you can't use the $50 tent to its fullest without an old moon pack, right? These things add up. And a player will be like, there's no value in this. I'm not going to do that. A lot of veteran players just abstain because of what I said. They don't want to see their money going back into Pearl Abyss's pocket to not develop for the game. The recommendation that I had made offers the player who is making the purchase something back immediately. And that's a really big deal because players don't really feel like they're getting anything for their money. It's not generally very worth it. And I'm not even advocating for myself. I haven't had to pay for a value pack or a Old Moon book or Kama Sylvia Blessing for over a year now, for several years now. I have, because of a partner, it's the benefit. Yes. But I don't think that the system is good. I think it lends to a very bad and predatory system. And if they offered those pearls out to the players, then even a new player coming in could look at that and be like, oh, if I buy the subscription, I get money back right away, even though it's not real money. It's made up currency by Pluribus. They don't.
Yeah.
They don't have any money that they're getting, and I think that having the battle pass systems should reward active gameplay loops, not inactive gameplay loops, like logging in. So when we bring this back to the new player experience, they're going to come in, see everything that they have to purchase, and be like, I'm not really that interested in it. Even if they don't purchase it, I'm sure there's a free-to-play player out there who's going to be like, I don't need to buy a thing. I could just play the game. And they're right. But your time is not as valuable as somebody else who is spending. And while that may always have been the case with pay to win or pay to convenience, it doesn't need to be this egregious.
Yeah. Yep. I think it's a good way to look at it. It's like and before I would see it as a pay for convenience. Now it's like you add up, as you mentioned in the video, all these like the all-in-one presets. You add all these sort of new stuff that you actually makes you actually like all the scrolls that they gave from the tent. They actually make you have to have that buff. So it's a little bit predatory, as you say. So I definitely agree. But I'm gonna throw you this question because since we're on the Elvia Academy topic, how from the perspective of a content creator, have you found this type of content? Do you think it achieves like the goal, which is player retention, and actually explaining the players how this game works, or do you actually see it getting off from your work as a content creator, right? Because I feel like most of the current players actually watched all this content, all your videos, to actually be informed and know how to do the stuff properly in the game. How do you feel about the Elvia Academy?
So I feel like the Elvia Academy only is going to benefit the player who has already bought into the game. The rewards are really good for veteran players and new players alike, so it's going to keep drawing them in. It's going to draw in players that might be on the fence. It's not bringing in new players, and it's not going to retain new players. What it will do is it will give a nice little. Imagine you're swimming in a lake, right? And you're swimming maybe across this lake, and there's a dock somewhere in the middle. It gives you a nice little dock to rest on because it gives you those rewards, and it teaches you some things that the game honestly hasn't done a good job of teaching you in the past. So in that regard, I do like that they're making an effort to teach new players concepts that have typically been left to things like guides and other, systems that are not necessarily in game, because the quests don't really do a good job of teaching you how to cook or do farming or do any of that stuff. Now, you learn how to do farming. Great. What good is farming in Black Desert Online, though? You learn how to do bartering. Great. What good is bartering in Black Desert Online, though? That's a semi-active gameplay loop, that's great. Now, the one that everyone does is fishing. So they teach you training. What good is training in Black Desert Online? And you have to ask yourself, what are we teaching the player, and why are we asking them to retain that information? And again, it's not a rewarding gameplay loop. So this is where I say it's a partial hit. It hits the players that have already bought into the game, that are already excited, but it's not something that's going to attract new players into the game. When you have successfully attracted a new player into the game, you got to do everything you can, especially in a dying genre, to hold on to that player. That's how you grow the genre. And Pluribus and Black Desert Online could do a fantastic job of this because they have the community, they have the gameplay loop. They just need to adjust it, make it less aggressive on the monetization, and offer a better, a more balanced experience to the new player coming in. Instead of introducing every new class, we have more classes, I think, than any other MMO out there. Instead of introducing new classes, actually take the effort to balance those classes and, give people what they're looking for, man. The people aren't looking for, at this point, new classes do bring new players into the game. But you know what always brings new players into the game too? New areas, new regions, and new content like that.
Yes.
When you think about Black Desert Online in respect to other MMOs, right? What is another MMO when they bring an expansion to their game? What are they bringing, right? Like let's look at Guild Wars 2. You buy the expansion, you get a huge new landmass, story content for, days, weeks, months. You're going to get probably new classes, new builds, new specs. We don't do that in Black Desert Online. We introduce a new class here and there. Landmass, the last landmass we got was Edania, which was beautifully designed. But in terms of our story, What did we get for story? 6 hours worth of story content? Could you imagine waiting 2 years for a great story-driven experience and you get a decent story that lasts 6 hours? As a story player, that'd be a huge insult.
I mean, overall, I would say that there's not enough people working on BDO right now, which we could talk about how they moved a lot of their developers onto Crimson Desert. But overall, there's one topic that you actually pointed at, which I really enjoyed, which I want to ask for everyone that is here. What was the main reason, topic, content that kept you as a player, that retained you, that made you think, okay, this game is nuts? What was for you, for example, Archive, that you haven't talked in a little bit?
Are we talking about something recent or in general? Because
Overall,
I would have
in
to go
your
back.
story, what made you like, okay, I want to stay in this game
Want
forever
to stay in
because I love
BDO?
it?
It's a mix of things, but that mix of things kind of concocted itself in my early stages of the game. It would be a mix of the PvP, the combat, the open world PvP, which we don't really have much of anymore. But this was like in my early days when I was still like a mystic grinding on Grunil gear at Helms, and there was spontaneous PvP happening, and that spontaneous PvP, the action-packed combat, all while having the feeling of exploring and learning the game, that was what really drove me to get as deep as I did. Sadly, the combat is still there. I think they kind of went a bit too heavy. Like, they realized players were getting engaged with the dynamic combat, and they went a bit too heavy on it. They overcooked. Open world PvP, I mean, I don't think I need to elaborate. Everyone knows what the state of open world PvP is.
Okay, what about you, Quenya? What made you keep you like entertained with a game that kept you forever now?
I agree with the people, because in before, like, we had lots of things to do in early game stage and mid game stage. We were just discovering game, and we were seeing that there are lots of things again. Even if I just reach the end game contents, there are things that I can have fun. But right now, people is asking this question to themselves: why should I do full deck? Why should I just build my full gear to full deck, or do other things? And like, people say that the new contents are dual. Yes, they are right. It's because and also Zerodan said that people are okay with pay to winning about MMORPGs, but what if they do pay to win in a game? Put some investment. I'm not talking about buying costumes, the real whale type of pay to win. People just asking this question: what am I going to get after I invest some time in this game and after I invest some money in this game? You can play BDO with less amount of money. You don't need to buy lots of things in the game they're giving you. But the main problem is that when they add a content, they're like they're like, when the reels in Instagram, we have reels, isn't it?
Yes.
You just consume it in short period of the time. In Instagram, it's 10 seconds. In BDO, is like in 1 week or 2 weeks maximum. After, when people just done with the early game stage, mid game stage, they start to understand that the end is not fun. It's dual. And also in the early game stage, we need more guides, for example.
Yeah. In my case, I would say that inevitably, either you are a grinding maniac and you actually want to like keep grinding for hours from like keep your brain evading from the reality. But on the other hand, I would say largely the game inevitably puts you in a position where you actually want to PvP in some sort of way with other players, right? And yeah, if the PvP scene was in a healthier state, it would mean like that a lot of players would see a purpose of actually accomplishing the gear, right?
Yep.
But yeah, I do agree. with you guys. Hazy, if you want to answer the question too, what kept you attached to the game? Class, AOS, community? Oh, damn.
That's literally it. Right, because
Okay.
the thing is, yes, I'm really good at my class, right? But that's because years of experience. Yeah, I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. Yeah, egomaniac or whatever. But AOS is because it's, well, I would go even as far as hardcore, because everyone had equal playing field, right? Everyone actually got access to AOS or got access to hardcore quite equally, right? And it was already pushing what is a system that they were doing really well, which is their PvP system, right? Then they basically pushed it onto equal playing field where everyone just had a show of skills, right? And turned it into more of a, as what a lot of people in the community do also play League of Legends. Not saying that League of Legends is actually a good game, but
No, yeah. No, I get you.
but and the community, right? Of course, right. That's the last thing. A lot of factors why we're all here for is because we've all been playing this game for so long with so many of our friends,
Yes.
our guild mates, right? Leaving them just feels like, leaving this game feels like leaving them, and doing that just makes you feel really fucking bad. And if you have realized, nothing that I said so far has to do with, like, it's my take is comparably like a lot different from the other guys, right? Nothing like what Konya said or like Arkai says, because the thing is, my points, the reason that kept me in the game wasn't progression, right? It was nothing to do with progression, nothing to pay to win, nothing in game actually kept me in. It was like the fact that you can hone your skills. I suppose that can be a form of progression. You may see it, but it's about having skill in a video game, or like having having better knowledge, right, between friends, or having this exploring world like hardcore, like without any knowledge, right? I think that's what made more fun in the first place, because it was unknown before it was known, right? And all of these things kept me in because, right. I mean, these days hardcore in a thing these days, which, by the way, they should really bring it back. The moment they finish Crimson Desert. Just due to the fact that how Crimson Desert works into the narrative. But even with AOS, right? It's like every single new map is a new experience. Every single new class is a new new interaction, right? And since it's all capped, it's great because there's no massive gear differential between you and the next person. However, if we're talking about the PvP scene purely about class balance, that's a completely different story. Don't want to talk about that yet. We're moving on to it, but
we'll get onto it.
Yeah, we'll get onto it, but that is what makes me stay in the game, right? It's a bond that I have with the people, right? Especially during PvP, because for example, an ancient Chinese saying is that 不打不交识, which means that without fighting, you can never become friends, right?
Yeah.
And I believe
That's
that is
so true.
like it's especially within conflict in games. I feel like that is extremely true. So, like not having that as much, because the thing is now you have content that is capped towards the end game players, right? With and PvP content less over world PvP content, you reduce that factor between players and community, right? And you can't retain new players due to this fact, due to the fact that you don't have the bridgeway, the gateway toward a community in any meaningful way, right? Especially as a new player.
Yep. I agree. Oh well, Sirodin, now is your turn. As a player, what kept you playing BDO? What kept you trapped inside?
The player versus player content. When Perlibis held their last ball. One of the things that they said was, we are paying attention to the chat. So chat, tell us what you want to see. And people overwhelmingly told them, World PvP. When they decided to take away one-sided decks, one of the largest and strongest threads that came to the North American server and the NAEU community was, hey, please don't bring this change here. And they brought it here anyway. The change to World PvP is something that would instantly bring people back into this game. And the players that they're seeking to retain by taking World PvP away have already left. So I don't know who they're drawing in that they feel like will stay in this game because of a lack of World PvP to the extent that it is. But World PvP is a motivating factor. If player A gets killed by player B and player B says, hey, you're dog doo-doo, you're doo-doo water. Player A gets mad and is like, I don't want that to happen. Right?
Yeah.
There is the version of player A that says, well, I didn't like that, so I'm not going to play this game. There was so many other solutions available to Perlibis for them to realize this one. I'll give you an example. Imagine, we have Arsha, a karma-free PvP server, right?
Mm-hmm.
What if they brought a server that was the opposite concept of Arsha? A PvE server that you cannot flag on, that you cannot get node wars on, or you cannot have wars on at all. GVG is disabled, everything is disabled on the server, and then left everything else the way it was. It would have been a net win. Player versus environment players could go to that server and just play. People that didn't want to be quote unquote harassed could just play on those servers. And you know what would happen? Those servers, if they were so popular, would become overcrowded.
Yeah.
I don't think we'd see that. I genuinely don't. So I guess for me, this just comes back to the whole PvP angle. The thing that brings me into this game and that keeps me in this game is player versus player. If you ever watch any of the streams I'm doing live, I'm almost always going from the basic 1 hour grind that I might do into PvP for the rest of the night. My streams typically end with PvP. I mean, just yesterday we had a PvP. We were fighting, like, I think there was probably 100 people inside of DSR fighting each other. And everyone wants this. This is what people want. But the way the game is structured now doesn't reward it. Player versus player in open world was never rewarding. It was always just fun. And this is something that Perlibis has lost touch with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do honestly think that NA does a much better job than EU or any other region on actually trying to have fun with PvP, despite of the current meta, which we can get into it in like a couple of minutes. I do think you guys force more GVGs to fight each other, to generate these instance fights, which are not as common as before, but you guys still do it. Like, I don't know from where, but I was talking about the current, or well, the already, like, it ended, the previous Guild League season. You guys actually, despite of the meta, are actually having more fun because you do not strictly follow the meta, but also like try to innovate in a way with classes or whatever. You guys are actually having more fun than what we at least see to be having in EU. Do you feel like that's right? This is also to try to connect with the next topic, which will be Guild League. But how do you feel like this is in NA, for example? Because I think it's also like a mentality thing.
Yeah, the replacement content. So when they brought Guild League, they said, hey, we're going to use this as a way to replace GVG. Guild League is not a replacement for GVG. It's just not. Guild League is another battleground. That would be like saying that we replace the entire world and the entire unpredictability of guild versus guild with structured combat. They're inherently not the same thing. One is a structured form of content with a reward structure. The other is unstructured form of content. And I'm going to be honest with you. I always try harder in open world than I do in Guild League. In Guild League, I don't care. Like, I just don't. I go in there. If I lose, I get rewards. If I win, I get rewards. Who gives a shit? But if I, excuse my language, but in
no, it's completely fine.
In open world, there's that incentive of like, well, I'm not going to let anyone kill me because I can manipulate around the whole world and I can do all kinds of different things. And it is a very different experience going into Guild League versus open world, and they're just not the same. And anyone with a brain will tell you the same thing. They're not the same content. It might engage the same systems, but it is not the same concept, and it's not the same experience. And I think that to me really sours GVGs or the GVG League because it's just rated battlegrounds at that point. You know, if you remember World of Warcraft going into a rated battleground with a team, it's the exact same thing. You pick 10 of your best players, they're all fully prepared, and you roll up against 10 other players, and they're all fully prepared. It's not the same thing as like you're going into a GVG, everyone can participate. I have to make a choice, like, for example, for my guild, I'm not going to be like, okay, only 850 gear score players can come to GVG League. I'm just like, guys, I don't care what your gear looks like. You can come to GVG League. Because I want them to be able to participate and engage the systems however they want to participate and engage with them. I want my players that are newer and that that need that experience to go into GVG League because there's a reward structure in place. And there's a lot of guilds that do that. You'll see a lot of strong guilds that will bring players that just don't have gear. And they'll get smushed. And that is also not a fun experience. If you're a player that doesn't have gear and all you do is get killed, you're like, what's the point? If you're a player that is maybe 800 or let's say you're 750 gear score, right? You've been working hard. You gained 50 whole gear score. Now you're 800 and you're still getting your ass kicked by an 850 gear score player because the entire enemy team is 850 gear score players. It doesn't feel great for you. You don't feel like you did very much. The return on your investment is pretty low. And I think GVG really outlines that to those players. So there's this balance of how do we manage this? And I'm going to tell you right now, man, I did GVG League, I want to say like 6 or 7 times this season. I paired twice against the same guild. And there was 2 times where we paired against no guild. Waiting 30 minutes to have no match. That sucked. I was like, okay, well, this is kind of lame. No rewards for no match. So I guess it's, in my opinion, it's just not a sufficient replacement.
Can I just add on
like...
with what Zero Dan's saying?
Yeah,
well?
sure. Go.
Because the Zero Dan, of course, talked about the gear difference, but at higher levels, it also becomes a class difference, right? Your class lock. And this also takes, like to follow on the point of like GVG, it's just not guild league. Is that what's it called? Back then, when you were decked, you were playing on your favorite class. You were always playing on your favorite class. In GVG, that's not the case. That is because the thing is, you especially at higher levels, it turned into a fest of where who can just build more meta classes within a GVG to prepare for a GVG, right? And in terms of that, like, you're not gonna see any what's it called? You're not gonna see my class, for example. You're not gonna see any rangers because in a limited battlefield, they're just gonna get cooked. You're not gonna see. You're not gonna go, not see Shards. Whereas in GVG, you're sometimes one side not gonna have any buffers, right? All these different things can attribute to, for example, if there was a gear difference of 50 between the 2 guilds, if one side doesn't have a Shine and the other side has, all of a sudden that becomes equalized again. You don't get to prepare for that kind of stuff with like in a GVG. Well, in Guild League, the person with the guild with the 50 gear score all around is still gonna have a Shine. Right? It's still gonna have everything prepared as the person who doesn't give leeway for anything, right, for you to have a winning chance against it, and it just feels so hopeless, right? And that's why, for example, other than NA, especially in EU, you don't, other than what you hear from the top guilds and the top players, you don't really hear anything from the lower guilds, right? There's no activity there because everyone knows this as a fact, and it's just not fun. It doesn't give enough rewards, right? And yes, I said about rewards because look at the Red Battlefield right now. A perfect example, right? The only reason why every single Red Battlefield right now is packed, it is 40 out of 40, is because PA is giving out these rewards. Well, yes, it's great for people, going into PvP as a small gateway as a little reward. This isn't a permanent fix. You're not fixing the core of the problem here. You're not fixing the fact that with PvP there should be so many more factors to consider to make it fun, rather than enclosing it in a space of a 10v10 or 3v3 or or whatever, and that is the appeal of open world GBG, which we have lost. Right. Anyways, continue.
Yeah.
I do have to go here
Sure.
shortly, but I wanted to throw in. I
Sure,
do
sure.
strongly agree with Hazy Mist here, because it does encourage you to play with comps instead of what you're good with, or instead of what you have been trained with, and that's another aspect of it. And it's something that can't be understated. Perlibus will often incorrectly attribute the popularity of a game mode because of its mode, because it's just fun. That's not the case. The one true consistent thing in Black Desert Online is, regardless of any reward, player versus player content in the open world is the only system that offers you absolutely no value. It completely costs you money, but players are thirsty for it. That should tell you how important this content is to the game.
Yeah, I agree. Because it's not like Node Wars. It is not GBG. I mean, it could be a GBG, right? We talked about how you could. I think nowadays, at least in EU, a lot of guilds are actually presetting all these GBGs to happen in different parts of the map, right? But it was like that immediate and spontaneous nature of this type of content that actually made a lot of people be thirsty for this type of content, and I think we are really missing those good eras of BDO, and there has to be a solution for it somehow, which is not like a band-aid of Guild League season, AOS, or the rework, or whatever they want to do with Node Wars, right? There has to be a proper solution for it. But yeah. I want to talk quickly. You said you had to leave, Sir Odin. Am I wrong?
Yeah, unfortunately, I do have to go. I have another meeting
Okay.
that I have to get to. But I'll be back if you guys are still going.
All good, man. I'll try to. Most likely, we're gonna take like an extra 20 to 30 minutes. We're gonna be talking about a couple more topics, which is gonna be like Guild League, the season that has been. We can talk like quickly about the meta that has been here in EU, and we can discuss about the changes of the crystals, and then a little bit of the how to say, like, how the next AOS, which is presumably gonna be coming next week, ideally, how the meta is gonna evolve, and probably we will leave it there. So again,
we're not gonna see hardcore mode. That's unfortunate.
Yeah,
too.
doesn't seem very likely.
We weren't gonna see. I'm glad you guys did this at a time I could participate in, even if it was just a short participation, man. I gotta bounce. Hopefully I'll be back for a future one, man. I'm sorry. It's just EU time versus like NA time.
No. For sure, in one future episode, we will try to make it maybe a couple of hours more suiting onto you, but probably we will make it work at some point, for sure. Do not worry. There will be more occasions in the future. Do not worry. Again, so much appreciated that you made it into your schedule to have a chat. Hope that you enjoyed it, and hope to see you rather soon for the next episodes. But yeah, we can quickly jump onto the Guild League meta that we talked a little bit before we actually started recording for YouTube with Gwendia. The meta that has been here, at least on EU, which we can quickly look onto the rankings that there's been. There's clearly number one that was like Armbros, then there was Ace, Raw, Rat, Mythic. I just want to say that at least in Europe, the meta has been very clear, which is tank meta is obviously still a thing, right? We can mix the two topics. The Skittle nerfs and the Skittle meta is still gonna be a thing. Not much is gonna be done, but overall, I would say the nerfs are hitting on the good direction for the meta, like the Skittle. I think probably is not enough, but not because of gear-wise. I would like to think that other classes that equip that same 6 crystals of DR or evasion, like if you put a Valk, she's still not gonna be doing as much as Zerker, Striker, and Mystic. So for the next, which is tomorrow, Global Labs, I would really love to see them addressing these classes because it's more inherently in their kits than it is in itemization, I think. But yeah, what do you guys think? For example, you Archive. I know you on the mice have been playing quite a bit of GIGABYTE. Have you enjoyed it? How did you feel the meta was? Did you like it? Did you hated it? What are your thoughts?
There were very few matches this season where I genuinely had fun, like doing calls, doing coordination with my team, like coming up with strategies to fight against different combos. But there were very few matches where I genuinely had fun. Other matches, the POV is you're a glass cannon class, you are not something that can be permanently protected with infinite stamina. Okay, you are getting ran down. You are not playing the game. And you're getting ran down specifically by classes and builds that you cannot put pressure on. So you will have them on you 24/7 and there is nothing you can do about it. You can only accept it. And you can hope that your team can do something similar to someone on the other side before they do to you. Like, I'm gonna give an example. You're from Rat, Higa. When every time we queue against Rat, every single time there is the Succession Zerker guy, Buchi, something.
Buchi,
I swear the guy does not hop off my dick for a single second for 20 minutes straight. I have to run away for 20 minutes. I die. I respawn. The guy's just lava piercing outside the spawn, waiting for me to come out. There is nothing I can do, bro. Like I can linger my protections. I can linger my protections, slowly burn through my stamina. I can tell my team, guys, I cannot help you. Like, go on their carpets. You can't help me. I cannot help you, but I'm getting run down. That is the most I can do. But I am gonna die. After a few seconds, after like 20, 30 seconds of getting ran by the Zerk, I am gonna die. And that is the problem we have with these classes right now. Like, there are certain classes that you can nerf the ability to run semi-tanky as much as you can, as much as you want, but as long as these classes have a carpet build as a viable option, those classes will build carpets. And there are some classes like Zerk which you can only realistically build carpet if you want to get good value out of them. But that's a problem with the class design. Like, you don't have much offensive value, you don't have much defensive value in terms of dodging or like, you're gonna be soaking up a lot of damage if you don't build carpet. But if you build carpet, you still work at basically 100% efficiency for what your class is designed to do, which is run people down and CC bot. And that is a problem because the moment I'm getting run down by a class like that, or even a similar class on a carpet build, let's say even a Mystic, a Striker, which is can't run at Mach 4 like a Zerk, but it can still do it. What is my strategy to relieve pressure off of myself from something like that? I can CC him, I can re-CC him, he will get up and continue doing it. It doesn't matter. And if damage pressure on them to like make them back off is another thing. Like, I can build full glass cannon with all of attack, I can PvE rotate in the face of a carpet Zerk or a carpet Striker that is just standing in front of me. They will just shrug it off. There is no pressure that I can put onto them, and in the meantime, I'm just getting ran down. Now, and this is for Awakening Sage, which is still a strong class. Don't get me wrong, we can get ran down because of forward guards and stamina, but it's still a very strong class. There are other classes out there that absolutely have no fucking options. They're out of spawn. They might as well not be. Like,
no, you're completely right.
Those classes are a problem. And this is a problem also with Shy, that like, you have this fucking Shy in the middle of a fight, perma bongoing and instantly
Yeah.
seeing everything that has a micro gap. Shy as well has gigantic issues with the design of the kit that, like, yes, they cannot function without the carpet build, but why are they built like that? It just removes the engagement from the PvP. It's just this constant environmental factor in the fight. It shouldn't be. There's a player behind that character. The player needs to put inputs to make the class work. It shouldn't be a press 1, 2, 3, 4 and be on a carpet wheel. Don't get me wrong. There's more depth to Shy than that. If you're like in the high leagues, but still,
Yeah,
the classes shouldn't be built and designed to only properly function with a build like that. It just takes away from the enjoyment of the players on these classes, as well as everyone else who has to come up with a non-existent way to deal with it. So yeah, this is the problem we've had, at least in, I would say, the top 50s in even like it's more than last season because Misty Haze doesn't exist anymore.
yeah, that's true.
But yeah, like top 40s, top 50s in EU, you're gonna constantly run into super tanky comps, and
Yeah.
it's just obnoxious. It's just not enjoyable.
And I do think at the same time that the crystals are working on the right direction, I do hope that for these next global lab we keep seeing changes in the same direction. I do want to see tomorrow specific change to all these three classes that share in common, which is percentage AC damage reduction. I do want that to be nerfed to equivalent levels of other classes that are supposed to be doing the same role, and see how the meta feels from there. I feel like it's a necessity. We've been very vocal in the entire community that doesn't make any sense. And sure, like the nature of those classes is to stand in front, do damage, not do damage. Well, they do damage still, but tank damage, apply the CCs and the utility for your teams, right? But one W from the changes from the crystals is that building 2 of these crystals are not gonna enable you to do as much damage as before and being somewhat tanky, right? I think the pressure in these types of scenarios has been shifted, because a full blast class is going to be able to trade you out, whereas the class that is running the double hand crystal, either evasion or DR, is not going to be able to, trade you off. I think the pressure has been shifted there, which overall is good. But I do think we still have to run a lot of tests with one crystal builds and all that, and we will see where the meta is going to be sitting, especially if what I want to introduce next, which is AOS, is coming by. Do you guys feel like we're going to have any, class balances tomorrow? Are you guys still hopeful? Do you think your Dracanian is going to get buffed tomorrow,
No.
Quendia?
No, Dracania will never
Oh,
get
no.
Oh dear. AOS.
No, by the
Oh,
way,
jeez.
Yeah, so have I told you about that little rage bait tier list I've concocted?
rage bait tier list, share it please now.
Yeah,
Yeah, share it to us.
show it to you guys. Give me a moment. Let me see where it
Post
is.
it on Discord. Quendia was gonna say something. So
Yeah,
while
go
you
on, say
search
something.
for it, you can go.
I mean, instead of buffing classes right now, the problem is like every veteran is agree with that. I never encountered just one single veteran disagree this take. This fucking game has so many OP classes. Like, it's not so many, but like 10 classes dominating game. And when you check what are the similarities of their skill kit, is full iframe and SA, lingers with full of CCs, and also some classes has, like, for example, SA movement with CC, no collision, like LAM WF. I'm not sure if it's collision, but the set off shift F, for example. And also sometimes if you can reposition yourself, that knockback on Sage Awakening. we should get rid of from these one. I'm not trying to hate any type of these classes. All classes should be close to each other in performance. Some classes can be better on some certain contents. For large scale, Sucks Ranger or Suck Witch Wizard can be better because of their nature. Or my Dracania can be better for some kind of first touch in between platoons. I can just bomb behind, kill it like flank flex, assassin type. But when you check all of those classes, bro, right now, for example, my drug can only do in these as a node war. If I can successfully land without getting CC'd, my goal or my character is being able to kill the Ranger and Archer, isn't it? Ranger's getting CC'd, but Archer's not getting CC'd. That class is range-based class, but if he wants, he can kite you with full essays, and most of the time can poke you with like that SAI frame, stiff CCs or something like that. This shouldn't be in the game. I can give another like Succession Dosa, I-frame SA, I-frame SA, I-frame SA, like no gap, literally no gap. Like ATIQ, someone which is called in global idiot, can play those classes and they can be successful. They don't need to be like top tier players. On the other hand, Mystic, Striker, they always problem with protections, and they
We can show the tier list.
Yeah, and also
we can show the tier list.
Yeah,
I will say I made it 80% accurate for the rage baiting. It's like it's mostly accurate, but it's not accurate enough that people are gonna be like, oh, I agree with this, and it's not gonna be like inaccurate enough so people know it's like fucking meme.
Yeah, a lot of the classes that Quenya is mentioning are up there, so we can have a look at them. Do you have it set, Quenya? Is it on your screen?
Yeah, it's on my screen right now. I want to see that image. Yeah. So, for example, this is for AOS.
Really subtly.
Yeah, for the next AOS.
I mainly the few rage baiting one, for example, was that I switched the caster specs around. They're not supposed to be there, right? The suck wizard and awakening witch should be swapped around because they should be higher, but they're not. What's it called? At least one of the hash specs should not be there, along with
Succession, right?
Along with quite a few other caveats, but it is like it's almost like an AI generated. It's like it's almost correct. It's like that looks. Wait, hold on. But yeah. Anyway, Sarah season. What do we think, guys?
I mean,
how many Sarahs?
I know. Like, I want to say the class is gonna be good on paper, right? The same way Scholar should be up there.
Exactly.
It's like you have, but at the end of the day, I think like I want to say it, for example, in EU, you have a clear case of CJ, for example, reaching very high levels, being #1, and it's an Awakening Sage. What is the true potential of the class? Of course, it's going to be very high. When you come up with a class being super OP, of course, Seraph on average, and due to the difficulty of the class, is going to be performing on average better than a lot of players. But when you put that scenario to the top PvP players, if they do know the scenarios, where to punish her and all that, it's where I'm actually interested in seeing. Nevertheless, I feel like the class does have potential, don't get me wrong. Probably we will see, I'm going to say it, 10 to 15 classes, 10 to 15 top 100 in EU.
Top 100? I think way less.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna have like maybe 5 in top 100. I put her in the same exact spot as Scholar. Like she's a very strong class, I would say broken in a scenario like AOS. But
I
like
think she power crept like multiple classes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But like just like Scholar, Scholar is broken right now. Okay, she's busted. But in a very small scale scenario like AOS, especially in the top 100, where people are very fucking good at the game, she's probably gonna fall into the same issues as Scholar, which is it is predictable and it's missing like the solo clutch potential of something like Ninja or Sage or even maybe Awakening Mystic before the vacuum nerfs, but she was more of a like team thing. But if you take something like Awakening Sage or Ninja, you have a lot of solo clutch potential. You are very unpredictable, and that's why those two together with Mystic were on the top. Scholar is broken, but she was not up there because again, she can't really carry on her own. And if you're like one of the top 100 players, you know what she's gonna do. You know how to punish her. You're not gonna get caught off guard. And I think it's gonna be kind of the same with Seraph. She's very broken in small scale PvP, but the top players will know how to play around it, and they won't be caught off guard.
I do think it's what it's gonna happen. I do agree with you on that, Archive.
I want to do
and
a
also
counterpoint then, really quick, if that's possible.
Yeah, I just
because
want
the thing
to
is-
make it short, but
Yeah.
sure, go for it.
Just to counterpoint, then there's a very probable chance that we're gonna have another AVO situation, right? Because the thing is, yeah, right. Because we have Deadeye before. Deadeye was this strong, I want to say, right? And we had a very prominent player who actually showed off how strong it was, and they were top 1 for the Deadeye season. As a Deadeye, right? So my question is, even though and Deadeye was very predictable, you know all her movements, like by the point at the end of the Deadeye season, right? My thing is Seraph not just strong enough that someone that's legitimately good on her? Because right now the only way to punish like a Seraph is either a grab, or you actually catch her when she's being fucking dented in the head, right? And dashes when she's on cooldown, right? That's like the probably the only 2 punishments, because otherwise she's fully protected with like insane stamina. Would that not just be have another AVO problem where there's gonna be some guy who's just gonna cook on Seraph and just get top 1?
There's probably gonna be, I believe, 1 or 2 players extremely high ranked, but overall, I don't believe Seraph is gonna dethrone something like Awakening Ninja.
Yeah. I don't see a Seraph being top 1. I don't think so. I really
Also-
don't think so.
Yeah, it's just we had that problem before. That's all. No worries. Continue.
Testing Seraph for like last thing before we move on. Testing Seraph for a bit. Sadly, one of the best ways to counter her, unless she plays like very tanky, which you can't really do in AOS unless they change the gear, is she is very vulnerable to standing damage. Like, you can kill her standing if you're on equalized gear and she's not built carpet, and she is very vulnerable to hit stagger. Hit stagger fucks her over so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if
But
they
we'll see.
nerf 2 skills,
Definitely.
two skills nerf just makes Seraph solid class, not OP, not top classes. Shift F and grab, then she'll be okay.
For
Yeah,
sure.
I agree.
Just nerf and she'll be totally fine. And they can even give a little bit more AoE damage to her to, for bomb potential, something like that. But Shift F
For sure.
is definitely, that mechanic should be illegal in the game. And also that grab, like, obviously they wanted to make the class OP. Everyone should play that class in AOS, and we will just fuck her in the ass. That's what developers said. I know it. We saw it in, for example, Deadeye. Deadeye's still strong class, but we saw it on Dracania, for example. We saw it on other classes. They made classes like Giga OP, and they destroy it. That's their policy, and I'm expecting that. Hopefully they won't destroy Seraph, and we see tomorrow Shift F and grab nerf. That was the first day or the second day. That was my feedback to the CM Kazarka. Shift F and grab needs to be nerfed.
Definitely. We will see if they actually do it tomorrow for the patch, because most likely we're going to be seeing the AOS season being announced. Hopefully we see some class balancing around. I'm really looking into it. We will see it, and probably we will jump about it onto a different episode. Sorry for rushing up the last 2 topics, guys. It just happens that I have to sort of go to. So if you guys are fine, we can go a little bit more in depth for the future episode, and we can also jab about future content that surely will come up. Sekraya coming up, a lot of new stuff that also got teased on Calvian Ball. So let's do a quick roundup of closing thoughts to, sort of close what we've been talking about in this episode. So yeah, let's start with you, Hazy. Let's do a quick closing thoughts.
Closing
You're the
thoughts
first
of the
one to
whole
go.
thing. Yeah. So, I mean, if we look at everything that PA has done currently, right? Just cooling down from the AOS stuff. Right? Right now they don't like long-term investment, just due to the fact that Crimson doesn't exist, right? And from what we talked about, they are doing things right, and but currently, sadly, everything is still quarter-to-quarter thinking, right? And they are slowly strangling the game until Crimson doesn't release. And I just wish that they make progression better and better in the long run. And I have high hopes for the game in general, to be honest, because they are making the right step and they are finishing off Crimson Desert. So hopefully, but yeah, overall, I am hopeful at the end of the day.
Yeah. Okay. Archive, your final thoughts for today's episode. You go.
I appreciate the stance PA is taking on the DR changes. It's probably not gonna fix the meta, but it's gonna probably open us up to better solution to fixing it going forward. And now we just, as I have in my stream title, good patch. Now we just wait for the nodeware changes and the new nodeware regions, and maybe we're on our way to saving PvP.
Good words. I hope so too. And take it away, Kwedia, from here. Thank you, everyone. You can do the last bit of the podcast with your final thoughts, and you can do the closing.
Yeah. So like I said, for PvP, hopefully they do start to nerf OP classes. This game needs some kind of standard. The privilege shouldn't be that much big in between classes. Protection should be privilege, but it should be limited by protection, not additional things a lot. And for the other contents, Elvia Academy, like 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, whatever you say, it's big W for the game. No one can deny that. For the Guild League, like I said, and like we talked in the beginning of the topic, like we didn't mention it in depth. In Guild League, most of the big guilds, they decided to stay away from it because people want to join with their own classes, but they can't, obviously. If you want to be competitive, you have to go for one or maybe two similar type of, setups or compositions, and not like, and nobody wants to do that. In Santorini, like it was the completely dead for the Guild League. And yeah, for the other things, hopefully PA do something in a good direction. They did for the last few months for the quality of life and for the combat, which is the most unique, appealing thing in this game, is the combats. Hopefully they can do something certain about classes, about node wars, about siege, about other things. They said that they're cooking for node and sieges. They just mentioned in Coffin Ball. You will see how it will just hit in future. Thank you guys for joining. I gotta go, and just people can, you can find these people, these valuable people, contacts in the description section. You know what we say? Do not forget, BDO is just a game, and do not ever trust our developers.
Bye-bye.